I promise you, I wish we had more time for this stuff today because some of the conversations going on during the break have been so enlightening. This is good stuff. And we'd love for you to join us on Facebook today and share your thoughts. We've been asking questions throughout the week. We know some of you have chimed in, so keep it coming. So here are some more poll results in terms of one that we've posted. At what age should kids be allowed on social media? The majority of you voted said 15 plus, so over the age of 15. You know, social media is a big deal for our kids these days. They almost have to be on social media or they start getting bullied. But of course, being on social media is the source of a lot of bullying. Do you guys think 15 is the right age? Should it be younger? Jill, what do you think?
I think it's not so much an age. It's like, are they mentally, emotionally mature enough for it? And I think the minute you put like a barrier on it, like you can't access such and such technology until you're 17 years old, again, it makes it this mystical thing that they want to do privately. Yeah, and it's relatively easy to do on social media. So I'm all about helping my children navigate that even from a very young age. My oldest is 6, and he just expressed interest in wanting to have his own YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
Which, you know, I'm not going to just broadcast that to the world, but I think that there's something to be gained and learned there in learning sort of how to use that technology and how to sort of navigate those waters as he grows.
And it's very different for us because we didn't have YouTube growing up. We didn't have iPads. We didn't have that immediate access to all the things that hooked us up with social media. And kids do these days, right? What else have you guys experienced?
You know, the bottom line is Facebook, Instagram, their terms of service say you have to be 13 or older to have an account. And it's against their terms if you create an account for someone who is under 13. And if you're 13 or under 13 gets reported, that account can be deleted right away. So there's that also. I mean, it's actually fine with me as long as I set up the account and I maintain the password on the account so that I can keep an eye on it. But are we really going to break terms of service? So I think you have to consider what lesson that's teaching as well.
Well, right, because if they're saying you can't get on until you're 13, but you're telling your kiddo, oh, it's okay, mommy's got you on
Well,
this.
I mean, there's ways around that. You can you know, lie about your age and start one, and people do. I've seen people do
time.
I wonder what the percentage is.
Our social media was what? The slam book that people would pass around?
Right, where
or
we're
a
passing
can with a
notes to
string.
each other.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, but nobody can Google that.
Let's ask Dr. Pete what he
exactly.
thinks. Is there an appropriate age? Is it a maturity level? What do you think?
You know, I really do think it's more of a maturity level than anything else. I like Barb's comment about the terms of service. We certainly don't want to advocate breaking rules for our kids. But at the same time, you know, one of the things that I've always thought is I don't understand this stuff all that well. And so as my son is growing up, you know, I'm very cautious about things that I don't understand that he's going to understand better. And so if I can't navigate it very well or navigate it with him or monitor it with him, then I'm going to be less likely to let him do those things. So part of that responsibility then becomes on me as a parent to make sure that I understand these things that I'm giving him access to. And then, as Barb says, I think is a good point, you know, maintaining those passwords, maintaining access so that I can constantly monitor these things. I mean, the whole thing with parenting is this idea of getting these kids to navigate to adulthood safely and appropriately and as happy, productive adults. And so along the way, you know, I'm trying to guide them and coach them. And so I want to be sure that I'm both monitoring what they're doing to be safe, but giving them appropriate access so that they can feel this sense of increasing independence and responsibility as they grow.
And I like what you say about staying on top of things. We actually had a tech expert on a couple weeks ago, and she was explaining how, you know, even if you have access to what's on your kids' phones or iPads, there are apps now that even hide the stuff you're trying to find. So you really have to be aware as parents what to look for, I guess is the best way to put that, right?
When our kids were young teens is when Facebook really started to become popular and open up. And so our twins were the youngest at the time at 13 years old, and they wanted Facebook. And so we said, okay, because they had already you know, access to the computer, they had their phones and whatnot. So it's like, okay, you can have this, you can. I have all your passwords. Mom and I have all your passwords, and at any given time that we want to look at your device, whatever you're on, we can look at it. Any static you give us, you lose that privilege. You're done, yeah. And that's been true, you know, through now. And every now and then hey, let me see your phone. What are you looking at? And you've seen some things. We've seen some things we didn't want to see, but it led to learning experiences.
And I think it's important, though, you let them know what you're looking for. I mean, I took that a little bit further and said, look, unfortunately, there's predators out there, and we had the conversation, and this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, you know, and as my son gets older, I'm looking for how well you respect the people that you speak with, especially girls. But right now, what I'm looking for is someone who's going to lure you into something that's unsafe.
Well, and you also have to monitor their privacy settings, and have they set them? Do they have to approve their followers, which of course they should. You know, anybody at Instagram, you've got to set it to that. You've got to set to, I need to approve who's going to follow me. So you've got to make sure they're doing that, and certainly protect their tweets and that sort of thing.
And of course, the lawyer in me is all about making sure your kids know about consequences if they're sexting and stuff of that nature. I mean, there's serious consequences that come with what they're doing on social media and on their phones these days. So we need to pay attention to that. All right, you guys, we'll be right back.